31 and 194. That was the record of a modern-day university's football program spanning over 21 seasons. You may be asking yourself, who is this team, and how could a team possibly be that bad for so long? I'll answer both of these burning questions in this video, but first, I have to take you on a journey. Oh hey there, welcome to Crookston, Minnesota. Sorry, rough Minnesota accent. Anyways, this is the small town of 7,000 where our college is based out of, with that being the University of Minnesota Crookston. Now the main timeline for this video I'm looking at is going to be from the years 1999 to 2019, even though they played football before then. The university restarted their football program in the late 90s after becoming a 4-year college where they played in the NAIA North Dakota College Athletic Conference, which they were the only non-ND team, but left before that 1999 season. The Golden Eagles actually played some decent ball here for these 3 seasons that I could find, going 17 and 13. Then the big leagues of NCAA Division II came calling their name. The Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference was looking for 2 members in 1999. One that accepted was Concordia University St. Paul, and the second, being our school of the video, UMN-Crookston, who also accepted the invite, bringing the conference to 10 teams, and where this became Crookston's golden age of football. In their first 3 seasons, spoiler, this was the best the team played in the NSIC. They actually won some ball games. From 1999 to 2001, Crookston had a record of 13 and 18. Yep, you heard me right. Their golden age of football in this conference was still a losing record. However, I would credit this success in the NAIA and early on in the NSIC to head coach Scott Oliver. He was the head coach for the Golden Eagles from 1995 to 2001, and where I told you viewers from their records had the best teams in the university's history. But when the clocks turned to the year of 2002, this town and university had no idea what they would endure for the next 18 years. Now 2002 was actually Scott Oliver's last season. He left in July of 2002, leaving Crookston scrambling to find an interim coach. Oliver actually just moved down to the high school level instead. So the university decided to name Shannon Stassen as the interim head coach for the Golden Eagles after the short notice leave of Oliver. Stassen would inherit a team that went 4-7 in the 2001 season, so he and Crookston were looking to stay at that 500 level of play. Well, that did not happen. Crookston in this season under Coach Stassen actually went a very bad 1-10 in 2002. Stats were almost similar to their 2001 season, just 300 less rushing yards, but dropped in points to 16.7 and giving up now 40 points a game didn't help. And if I read the NSIC All-Conference sheet right, the Golden Eagles had 0 players on the first or second team All-Conference. Even the 0-11 Minnesota Morris team had 4 players on the All-Conference list. Speaking of Minnesota Morris, they left the NSIC after this 2002 season, leaving Crookston as a cellar dweller by themselves. However, the university stood behind Stassen as he was named the head football coach officially in February of 2003, where the start of his actual tenure in 2003 went off with a bang for Crookston standards. The Golden Eagle offense was on another level. I mean, the team still finished 2-9 overall, and the defense still gave up 40.9 points per game. But this offense set a record that still held up in 2019. Total yards in a season at 3,465, mainly behind running back Luan Spearman, who had 853 yards with 7 touchdowns. Again, another positive note came Crookston's way, as in 2004 the team saw their greatest player in program history finally get his chance to shine. Frederick Rollins, or RJ Rollins, became the lead running back for these Golden Eagles, and where he lit up the stat sheet. 2004 saw Rollins gain 1,551 yards while scoring 17 touchdowns. In the Golden Eagles' last game of the season in 2004 as well, Rollins put up a then NSIC record of 384 yards and a Crookston record of 5 touchdowns in a win over MSU Moorhead. At the end of the season, Rollins earned first team All-Conference, even getting an honorable mention as a D2 All-American. All of this production by Rollins helped get Crookston up to 17.3 points per game on offense. Even the defense stepped up this season, just allowing 33 points a game. Sadly, these good numbers for Crookston only led to a 2-8 record. Senior season for Rollins in 2005, and Crookston wanted to do something special. Yet, the team did worse this season, dropping down to 1-10. But Rollins still performed 1,402 rushing yards with 12 scores on the ground. Again, Rollins got another NSIC record when the team made him rush the ball 52 times against MSU Moorhead in their only win of the season. another first-team all-conference selection for Rollins, and where with his graduation in '05, he held the school's career touchdown, yards, and rushing attempt records, along with the single-game records I mentioned prior. So how'd the Golden Eagles fare after the departure of their greatest player ever? Just as good as you think they would. These 2006 Crookston Golden Eagles, I think, were the worst team on the video so far. An 0-11 campaign where the offense had, let me see here, good heavens, just 3.5 points per game and 160 yards a game. Golden Eagles also turned the ball over 36 times, completing just 22% of their third downs. Defense only gave up 42 points a game though, but did surrender 4,335 total yards for the season. Their fans this season even dropped by 21%, so Crookston football was looking no bueno. Now a decision seemingly out of right field in the 2007 season almost became the end of this D2 experiment for Crookston, as the university was considering a move back down to the Dakota Athletic Conference in the NAIA. But the university ultimately asserted their commitment to Division II, and the Golden Eagles stayed in the NSIC. For the team, 2007 was another stinker, with that being a 2-8 record. We start the second act of this tragedy off great. The university already having doubts about staying on the D2 level. Let's see how this goes. Also didn't help the Golden Eagles case going forward in the future that the NSIC added another 4 teams to the conference who have all historically been pretty good in the conference since 2008. Re-added Minnesota Duluth, then got Minnesota State, St. Cloud State, and Augustana all joined, where these 4 had a combined record of 39-11, where Duluth won the D2 title this season. So again, let's see how this turns out. Crookston went 2-9 in '08, so not the worst, and almost got a 3rd win last game of the season versus Upper Iowa. Got to overtime 30-30, Crookston scored first but then missed a PAT. Upper Iowa then scored a touchdown and made their PAT to win. Would have been their first 3-win season since the 2001 season. The final 2 years of head coach Stassen in '09 and '10 were almost identical. Both seasons the team went 1-10 with their only wins over Mayville State. The defense gave up 43 and 45 points respectively, and where the team had 2,000 less yards than their opponents. Only difference I could find was 2009 scored double-digit points per game, while 2010 scored 9.6. Crookston decided not to renew Stassen's contract after an abysmal 2010, and where the university hired Chuck Muller, who lasted just 1 season in 2011. Another Golden Eagle 1-10 season where again, their only win came against Mayville State. I will say, whatever Coach Muller did seemed to work. The offense got up to 15.5 points a game, and the defense allowed under 40 points a game. So wish he could have stayed longer, but Muller stepped down 4 days after the season was over. 2012 was another year of a head coach that stayed just for a season. Crookston hired Paul Miller, who brought the best offense the program had seen in over 5 years. Offense was now up to 3,349 yards, second highest of the video, along with scoring 17 points a game, even ending their season with a walk-off win over my hometown University of Mary. Not even a logo painted on the 45 instead of the 50 could stop this team from winning a game. That's right, students at Crookston accidentally painted on the team's M logo at the 45-yard line, not midfield, where the game still took place and the Golden Eagles won 33-28. Not to sound repetitive, but another new head coach was announced in 2013, with this being Mike Fritz. Again, one of those seasons where there's not much to say. The team went 2-9 and became a more pass team heavy finally. All the stats were basically similar to the prior 7 season stats, just more passing yards than rushing yards this 2013 season. Finally, we made it to the good part of the video because the 2014 season is where Crookston officially became the worst college team to step onto a football field in America. Year 2 under Coach Fritz started this section of the video off hot with an 0-11 record. The 2014 season gets the title for the worst defensive team up to this point. Golden Eagle defense gave up nearly 50 points a game at 49.3. Also gave up nearly 6,000 yards to their opponents at 5,790 yards. Fun fact, this team gave up a touchdown equivalent every 8 minutes and 30 seconds, nearly 2 touchdowns a quarter. The university stuck with Coach Fritz for the upcoming 2015 season, and it did actually pay off. 2015 became the only good season in this part of the tragedy, and in fact, probably the last 10 seasons. The Golden Eagles in 15 outpassed opponents 2,158 yards to 2,055 and had their best offensive season since 2003 with 3,441 total yards, which led to scoring a crazy 17.8 points per game, meaning a record of 1-10 with a 45-14 win over Minot State. Again, this may not seem like great numbers, but for Crookston at the time, they were on cloud 9 that season. 2016 was an odd year to me because they lost 15 seniors, most being on the defensive side with just 5 on offense, and almost all their offensive weapons came back. Yet it led to an 0-11 record, and where that great offense from 15 took a step back to 13 points a game, with just 2,685 yards on total offense. Defense still stunk, giving up 49.2 points. But now top running back Andre Pearson and starting QB Nathan Cole graduated, along with another coaching change as Coach Fritz left the program. Then 2017, the final head coach of Crookston football stepped up, with that being Mark Duffner. He had been at the program for 17 years and finally got his shot as the head man, and where season 1 under Duffner was bad. The Golden Eagles once again went 0-11, making their losing streak now 23 games. Passing game, I guess, improved, up 200 yards from last year, but the team saw 4 different quarterbacks take snaps throughout the season, and the rushing game was non-existent, just 576 total yards. I just prayed the defense had at least one competent season, but them giving up 5,700 yards again in 2017 was not what I was hoping for. 2018 saw the season start off with a loss at MSU Moorhead, then another loss to St. Cloud State, a third loss to Bemidji State, making the losing streak all the way up to 26 games. Yet, on the road in Minot, North Dakota, the unthinkable happened. Crookston beat a team for the first time in nearly 3 years with a 29-21 victory over Minot State. Sitting at a record of 1-3, momentum was on Crookston's side for about a week and didn't come back for the rest of the season, as the Golden Eagles finished the 18th season with a 1-10 record. This 2018 team got the same accolade as the 2010 team as well. Both teams only scored single-digit points, with 2018 scoring 9.9 points a game. A record of just 2-53 in this chapter of the video is crazy to me. Just 2 wins. The 2019 season was looking to build off their 1-win season in 2018. Yeah, I know, that's tough to say, but they indeed did not do that. Only had one game be close this season, with that being a 16-24 loss to Minot State. Other notable games included 81-0 and 63-0 losses, leading to their team record of 0-11. Another season where the team got smoked. But hey, they got to play in the University of North Dakota's Alair Center for their last 3 home games due to their football field being not good enough. So that was something. Then, the worst news possible happened. That's right, folks. The university decided to shut down the football program. The reason for this was over financial concerns and the new NSIC bylaw, and maybe just historical performances. First, I'll start with what the bylaw laid out. The change in the NSIC bylaws stated it no longer required member schools to field a football program, which opened the door for Crookston to make a decision to end the football program, which they decided to do alongside St. Cloud State. Next, financial concerns. Their chancellor, Mary Holtz-Claus, said, "The program has historically faced serious challenges from lack of available funding, challenges that have grown in recent years. Without substantial and ongoing financial investment in facilities, student-athlete development, scholarships, and staffing, the football program cannot be maintained, let alone improved competitively. Simply put, the Crookston campus could not offer near the football scholarship money that other NSIC powerhouse programs could, and their football facilities were not on par with other NSIC football programs." Their chancellor also said, simply trying to maintain the current program seemed too steep of a hill to climb as well. As for the players, there were 69 student athletes on the football roster. Out of the 36 available scholarships, scholarship dollars were awarded to 24 student athletes on the team that year, where the university used those football scholarships to reinvest them for other sports and staffing, and where many players opted for the transfer portal and/or opened their recruiting to other colleges. And of course, the historical performance of the team in the Division II level was probably a factor too, just to save face from more bad seasons and being the laughingstock of the conference. As just from 2015 to 2019, the Golden Eagles went 2-53. So why did the University of Minnesota Crookston hold on to this bad sports program for so long? I think the main reason was that it brought up enrollment for the school. From an article I saw published in 2014, it showed how bad the football and baseball teams had been at Crookston, but the sports brought in well over 100 students to campus, where enrollment in 2019 was 2,768 students. More students usually mean more money for the campus, but the cost of maintaining football just outweighed the revenue the student athletes brought to campus. It's always sad when a university loses a sports program, especially one like football. Trust me, I've been watching bad teams play. Look at University of Mary from 2022 to 2024. They were pretty bad. But just the tailgating, the atmosphere, heck, even watching the game with players I knew was fun. Obviously, Mary hasn't always been as bad as Crookston was, but it's another sad tale in the world of college football that the worst team is no more. if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and hitting the bell notifications. Thank you.